A member of a UK parliamentary committee has demanded that British clothing businesses investigate where they get their cotton from and stop denying where it is taking place. Well, Mr. Nusrat Ghani was referring to a new report that says hundreds of thousands of Uyghur Muslims in China are being forced to do hard labour by picking cotton. Well, the Chinese Foreign Ministry denied the allegation, adding that the Uyghurs, like everyone else, can choose what they work and what they do when they're given their contracts. Well, let's talk now to the author of that report, and that is Adrian Zenz, who is a senior fellow in China Studies at the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, and he joins us from St. Paul in Minnesota. Oh, hello there to you. Many thanks for joining us. And we were just saying that there's a high proportion of Uyghurs who work in Zhanjiang, and this is grueling work in terms of the cotton industry. Tell us a little bit about the conditions.
It's difficult, hard work from dawn to dusk. People need to relocate for 2 to 3 months. And reports say it's often been hard to find locals to do this work because it uproots them from their communities. They have to leave behind their children or elderly that they care for. So in the past, it was hundreds of thousands of Han Chinese migrant pickers who voluntarily underwent the journey out of their poverty to do this kind of work. However, more recently, this has shifted dramatically. Now, the Xinjiang government is recruiting and mobilizing and making hundreds of thousands of Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities pick cotton, because this is not just about the economic side, it's about achieving the political goal of stability and of long-term cultural change, turning agriculturalists into factory workers.
It's very interesting what you're saying. I'd just like to pick up on one word that you said, that people were being made to do this. Are you saying that Uyghur Muslims are forced to do this cotton picking work being forced to do this by the Chinese government, which obviously the Chinese government denies?
Yes, they are. There are many indications, and of course the entire program that puts Uyghurs through forced labor has been by now well documented. Myself, the New York Times, Australian ASPI, and other media organizations in investigative reports have found forced labor among Uyghurs. And this is the same scheme that's being employed here to make hundreds of thousands, over 500,000 Uyghurs and other minorities pick cotton. I have detailed documents in my report from government and state media reports, propaganda, where Uyghurs are confessing how lazy they were, how unwilling they were, but now they are willing to go and pick cotton. Of government work teams who knock on doors even 2 times, performing thought transformation until people are willing. And it works that the government inquires early on, local governments ask, how many pickers do you need? And then they go and mobilize them. And if it doesn't work, they go as long as they do it.
And just very, very briefly now, because we're running out of time, but how complicit are Western brands when it comes to this? Do they have knowledge of what's going on?
The Western brands are actually well aware of this, and I've heard this internally many times. They don't like to talk about it because it creates a big supply chain problem for them. It's very hard to find the alternatives. But now this is like the game changer, the missing link. Now the raw material of cotton is directly implicated. And now there's no more excuses, really, even if it costs more money and is difficult. The supply chains have to be changed. Fashion brands have to divest.
OK, well, many thanks for joining us, Adrian Zenz, on the programme.